Which of you Mormons called the fuzz? Everybody, give me a hello if you're out there. Give me a wave if you can hear us. We're out here, guerrilla, street preaching the good word of atheism. I have my microphone on, so should be good sound. Should be good for sound. We are going very slowly for a parking space, looking for parking. We are in Independence, Missouri, where it all began. Well, where it began again. Near where it began, where it was supposed to begin. Where it re-began again. We're looking for parking. I was saying to somebody at the, remember I told you about the Remnant Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? They're right there. It's like them. Mormons. We even just drove past the LDS visitor center. In other words, they have a temple site. It's not the temple site, which is across the street. So they can't build their temple there. So just build their temple. Just build your temple there. We're going to get the sermon going here in a minute. First, we got to find a place to park. Place Mormons aren't going to come at us. Pretty sure this park is open, but there's suspicious black SUVs. I'm always a little leery of more than one suspicious black SUV at the same place. And I'm like, it's definitely security. It's definitely security. So just
park at the preschool.
We're not just going to park it. That is never good advice. Now this road on there. You park on roads. Parking a pod. I'm gonna need my hold on. Folks. You gonna stay here with William or you can stay here.
Oh.
You're at the Pope. Elijah, you go your own way, man. You're a rogue, you know that? Oh crap. Where's the top of it?
Oh, I passed that to you as well. This.
That's the one. Good job, Elijah. You're gonna make a good street preacher yet. And trust me, this is gonna be easier than taking blankets to the homeless.
Okay.
Remember how we did that?
I do. I have great stories. I still tell people I met a homeless wizard.
A homeless wizard? He did have a beard like a wizard, didn't he? Yeah.
And I saw one with a pointy hat and a beard. And I was like, at first I thought he was an oversized gnome, but now I'm thinking he's a wizard.
Oh, yeah. You meet a wizard, you don't soon forget. We had gone, we were almost here, and all of a sudden, Independence, Missouri was swarming with patrol cars everywhere. I'm like, damn it. Some Mormon saw my ad. Said we're gonna narc him on this core whore. All right, we're gonna see how long we can go for. Let's see how if our internet holds up. I'll pull up my written sermon.
You got a speech.
Oh, but trust me.
You got a script.
I prepared it. Believe it or not, sometimes I prepare. Got any core hordes out there? We got the community gathering. It's happening. Right here. Oh, my coat.
Oh, yeah.
Cora Horde needs his Cora Horde coat.
His coat of Horde.
His coat of Horde. We're going to go boldly. We're going to speak truth to power, but far away from that black SUV, because that black SUV gives me the willies.
Yeah, We have one. We have one.
I'll do the jokes, Elijah.
Should have thought about that before you see it.
I'll open up my Pepsi first. We can preach and we can preach and we can preach. But we can't run out of caffeine. So my dad said when I first got a car, he said, I want to tell you one thing my father taught me. He said it's been practical advice. You can run it out of gas. You can run it out of transmission fluid. You can run it out of brake fluid. He said, don't run it out of the transmission fluid. He said, the one thing you never ever want to do is run it out of oil. Never, ever, ever run it out of oil. Okay, that's open. You coming or going, Elijah? We are here. Beautiful Independence, Missouri. First time I saw the spire of the RLDS temple, I thought, now that I'm seeing it for the second time, I learned a little more of their history along with ours. I have to say, it's grown on me. If you don't know, this is Independence, Missouri. We're going to start preaching here. We got a special message for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. But don't worry, if you're a Korah whore, I'm going to have one for you too. It is given that I settle my nerves and get into the flow of things. I have a written sermon again this time. So it shouldn't be too messy. Sometimes my sermons get messy when I get to the preacher parts. We're out here preaching atheism. Give us a subscribe, give us a like. We're gonna set up somewhere a little bit. Elijah. Yo, Elijah. Hold on. Elijah's my son. We're doing a cross-country tour while we're trying to get to Virginia, where we're getting established. We'll find some safe First Amendment space here. Generally speaking, in Missouri, as I understand it, as long as you are not obstructing the sidewalk, and you're at least a foot from the street, I think it's something like that. I might be thinking of Oklahoma. Gotta tell you, the first time I did a street preaching tour was a few months ago. Oh, back around the holidays. Well, yeah. And I went to Tulsa, Oklahoma to deliver my main Godless sermon. Well, the main one was, well, that one plus I preached a Godless sermon in, how's it going? Everybody hear me okay? And Pepsi got to be a sin too. Yep, absolutely. I mean, in Mormonism it is. Listen, you got sins, drink them if you got them. You guys see the temple back there? Proof, Independence, Missouri. Everybody hear me okay? Okay, thank you, Heavy Cross. You're welcome to stay. I don't generally throw people out unless they start throwing like, well, you know what? I'm not going to suggest. You know what? I'm not going to put it in anybody's head. You're welcome to stay, but we are a church for atheists. I don't mind if the congregation calls out praises to the Lord, but we don't do that. Give me just a second while we get going here. I don't know if Elijah's coming along or not. We're just going to get going. Not going to get too loud. The thing about Missouri, about Independence, Missouri, is that it's a neighborhood. You know, it's not, I mean, it's shocking because you hear about this. You grow up Mormon and you hear about independence. Oh, and independence in Jackson County, or they call it Jackson County. I don't think it even is Jackson County anymore. I think that Jackson County doesn't technically exist anymore. Anyway, and then you actually get here. It turns out, guess what? It's just neighborhood. Houses, schools, and of Latter-day Saints everywhere you go. Remnant of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You got it? Really? Okay. If you gotta walk a willie, you gotta. We got William Shakespeare is out on the preaching trail. So we're gonna get going here. Don't want to make anybody wait too long in case Dallin H. Oaks gets forwarded this sermon. Don't worry. If you're not Mormon and you feel like you're being preached over, don't worry. We'll get to it at the end. Nobody gave me a yes, I can hear you, so I'm just going to go on experience that yes, you can hear me. Plus, people talking about what I'm drinking. Cool. That's all good. All right. Should we do this? I wouldn't have him like, well, yeah. Well, I guess you can. I don't know if this is church property. I think it's a park. But it might be church property. I don't know. I'd get off the grass if I were you, but I don't know. I'll bail you out. They arrest you. All right, here we go. This is Mammon Church. Hello. Moses 7:18. And the Lord called his people Zion, because they were of one heart and one mind, and dwelt in righteousness. There was no poor among them. That was supposed to be this place, Independence, Missouri. You can see how they thought it was paradise, or Adamon-Diamond, the place where you go after you leave paradise. Whatever. A little more than a week ago, Mormon YouTuber Luke Nichols, also known as Outdoor Boys, who is also part of the LDS Church's Young Men's General Advisory Council, stood before graduates at his alma mater, George Mason University Law School, just a few days ago to give them the secret to survival. Save money. Very practical input for new attorneys who paid up to $44,000 a semester for tuition to hear this sage advice. They enter the job market where law graduates everywhere are failing to find legal work. Nichols knows this. In his speech, he claims that he went looking for work 2 decades ago and sent 3,200 resumes only to get 0 offers. Now, that was 2 decades ago. And prospects for new attorneys are not looking as good today. He didn't graduate into a legal environment where artificial intelligence is so good at writing a contract or a will that even lawyers are using it. His solution is effectively to be born lucky. Nichols' whole point in this elitist bootstrap puller plea to be more than you can be comes from his own admission that he only survived because he had money in the bank. Money that didn't come from a job in the legal field because he couldn't find a job in the legal field. Because he had other money. He could afford to hang his shingle as a lawyer and work for 1 year for free and burn 15 grand on failed ad campaigns to make his own legal job. Come again? This is the career advice that nearly $500,000 in tuition will get you. Save up and be a man because now it's going to really suck. I'd like to thank Luke Nichols for this church lawyer example, the Mormon prosperity gospel. Privilege pretending to be principled. How sad for him that this commencement speech comes out days after the church that he works for sued a podcaster whom they had excommunicated 10 years ago. And his sin this time, using the word Mormon in a way that violated their holy brand. Now, am I living in the upside down here? Or didn't they abandon that brand? Did everyone just forget about that? The same church that spent 150 years branding itself Mormon now claims trademark infringement against a critic for using the word they invented, supposedly. Why send missionaries to do God's work when you can just use tithing-funded lawyers instead? Who could have guessed that a church run by a lawyer could be so Pharisaic? Jesus turned over the tables of the money changers while Dallin H. Oaks just hires them. In March 2024, the LDS Church purchased at least 18 historic buildings from the Community of Christ, the same organization whose temple you see here. including the Kirtland Temple in Ohio. They brought manuscripts, artifacts, sacred sites, because they made the decision years ago that the widow's mite was never going to get them the power that they now have. And Community of Christ, a church that has every bit as legitimate a claim as theirs, and probably even better. That church found itself in deep trouble. I'm improvising as I get back on script here. A church that was run by Joseph Smith's own son, and frankly has as valid a claim to the succession of Joseph Smith's legacy as Brigham Young did, was drowning financially. So the Brighamites threw them a bowl of pottage for their birthright. That's practically foreclosure. It's predatory, frankly. When Jesus' holy brand was estimated with total assets of $100 billion or more, why bother winning souls when you just buy out the competition instead? Once upon a time, Joseph called this place, Independence, Missouri, Zion, and prophesied that when they had a temple there, the world would finally come to an end. Nothing bad ever comes out of that. But in the end, his son, Joseph Smith III, made a future for Mormonism here in Independence that did work out, even though it didn't work out for him, Joseph Jr. And he did that, unlike Brigham Young, without having to need to resort to the trafficking of women and child brides. And true, the RLDS are not phenomenally wealthy, with holy portfolios and coffers deep enough to buy or litigate competitors out of the pulpit. So is that how the Lord wins in the place they called Zion? Because there were no poor among them. I really wouldn't be on the grass if I were you, Elijah.
I know. Trying to tell
Thank
my
you.
cat that.
Oh, well. You talk reason into him, sir. You're a man of reason. But in the end, his son Joseph Smith, man, yep, I got that one already. Okay, we're almost done. All right. So is that how the Lord wins in the place that they called Zion, because there were no poor among them? I have to ask the Rocky Mountain Oracle. President Oaks, if it were for sale, would you really want Zion? Then what? Is that the end of your ministry's problems or the beginning? Does a church run by old men even think about that? Let's say you get it. Let's say that you get back the little hill over yonder where Joseph Smith moved the temple of Ammon, the place where men become gods. Then what? What happens when Jesus doesn't come back? You know that he has a very bad track record of that, right? Or is this what you feel that he would want? To give the temple back to the money changers, to hoard both purse and scrip, while the widow, the poor, and the fatherless die in the cold? Send your critics to court and get in damages your 30 pieces of silver? Nehor instead of Nephi? Priestcraft pays so well that you can afford to sell a trumped up gospel to a generation of people where literally an atomic blast worth of hunger has gone off in this country in the last decade. And where were you? Where was Zion while I was out in the streets of Salt Lake City wrapping blankets around people, while you were investing billions in renovating your precious temple square? Know ye not that ye are the temple of God? Let the granite fall, brethren. Open your heart to the people. Or have you forgotten how? Maybe I'll show you. I wonder, can you hear me, President Oaks? How loud do I have to get? Where do I have to go? And how much danger do I need to put myself in before you're going to consider me worthy of being noticed, so that you can hear what I have to say? I want to show you something here. This is a post from 2 years ago. These are all on resources available online, and I welcome you to click on the link that will be in the description to verify all of these, and hopefully I won't get my live taken down for reading them, because I'm going to read them word for word. This post is just from 2 years ago. Quote, I almost committed suicide on my mission. My apartment was 9 stories up. I thought about doing it for a few days, and then one night went out to the balcony. Last second, I decided that even though it would get me out of my situation, it would hurt my brother and impact his ability to live a happy life. One of my childhood's brothers committed suicide, and it was hard watching the impact on him. but it took thinking of how it would hurt my family to stop. It is the only time in my life I was suicidal. Only my partner has ever heard that story, but I still scare myself and cry when I think of the 19-year-old me sitting on that ledge. Missions put you in a vulnerable spot and then gaslight you into working on yourself if you have a mental or physically abusive companion. This is another post in the same string. The brother of my father's missionary companion, James Blower Bangerter, 19, Provo, Utah, committed suicide, but the church and media called it an accidental drowning. Another says, one of my children was suicidal on their mission. I didn't find out about it until after they got home. The mission nurse made arrangements for that child to get antidepressants to keep that child on the mission. I didn't find out about that until they got home. Another, a high school classmate, was sent home early and then committed suicide. Another, a number of years ago, a young man from our area was either killed or took his own life while on his mission in a foreign country. I don't know many details because I had left the church by then and the family was very faithful. So I just read an article about it from that country. At his funeral, no one said anything, of course. Another, this will be the last I read of these, but there are more. I know of one that did it after he got home. He had gotten into trouble on his mission and sent home early. His family was downright cruel to him. Now, why would I choose to make an example of this in particular, President Oaks? I served a mission, and you didn't. I know what it means to sacrifice everything, to sell Zion as a place where they are of one heart and of one mind, and there are no poor among them. Now I have a better gospel, a godless gospel. My little godless church is the poorest one to come out of the restoration, but I can do what others can't. Watch this and bear it if you can. This is the preachy part. So those of you Korah horse who endured my little come to Jesus for the Mormons, yeah, it's finally down to the part where we generally get something good. Thank you, everybody who's visiting. We are the Church of Korah Horse, spiritual community for godless people. I want to tell you something. That you won't often hear in church. Something I wish I had heard in the pews of a church years ago when I was Mormon. Or at least something I'd learned in school, certainly something I had learned while I was on my mission and nearly took my own life. Brothers and sisters, I want you to know that you matter. That when you are hungry, you matter. And you're in law school and you're racking up hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt that you aren't even sure is going to transform into a job, I got to tell you, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt or no, you still matter. Make it millions, you still matter. This stuff, the things we have been sold again and again that we need to survive, that we need in order to live, that those are the things that make us matter, they don't really. At the end of the day, what really makes you matter is whether or not there's a brain that decides that you matter. Now, of course, you may be used to hearing that in connection to the idea that all of this beautiful place, the universe, not just here in Independence, though it is beautiful, that all of this place has to have a mind behind it so that you individually have been created with some kind of purpose. Well, that'd be lovely. Unfortunately, the evidence bears out otherwise. There's no mind behind it, as far as I can tell anyways, and I'd be delighted to have somebody prove me otherwise. Instead, there is a mind in the universe. There's yours, and there's mine. There's the mind of somebody out there who's going to sleep in the cold tonight. There are minds of some single mom who's holding her baby for the first time right now, trying to be excited, trying to be in love with life, and in love with that new person, but terrified. Somewhere in this world, there's somebody who is being prejudiced against because of the color of their skin, because of their religion, because of where they come from. Somebody who doesn't know if they have a friend in the world. Every single one matters because there is a mind to whom they matter. Until they don't. And that's the sad truth. When there are no minds left for you to matter to, well, then you really don't. That is why it's important that the first mind that you matter to is yours. And that can be very hard to do, especially when you've been bullied or abused, especially when somebody has told you that you aren't as worthy as you used to be if you've had sex or you wear a tank top, or if you masturbate or you did drugs or drank a beer, smoked a cigarette. Now you're not as worthy as you used to be. Because those little things, those little accusations, bringing back your past again and again, making you feel shame over and over again, those things are really hurtful in ways that stretch far beyond the things that we say, because we make people say it to themselves. And this is why I'm going to share something with you, brothers and sisters. I'm going to share you an experience that I hope will be a gift to you. We can't really do godless hymns on StreamYard when we do mobile street sermons like this. So for the first time, I've decided, for the first time in a sermon, to experiment with sharing with other people the refined process, as refined as I've made it, for overview. I'd like to invite you, whoever you are, whatever you believe, to join with me now so that you can know and feel what it is to believe in yourself and that you matter, and especially in those moments when you feel like you don't matter. I want you to remember this. And it's okay to not have much of an experience with it the first time you're new to it. It's okay to suck at something for the first time. I've done it many times. And I promise you, if you keep at it, you'll get better at it. And if you need more practice, and I do too, then hit subscribe there on this video. Follow Hellfire Agency so that you can get more broadcasts like this one. First of all, I want you, brothers and sisters, to know I'll be keeping the time with this little experience. So you don't need to worry about it. That'll come up. That's fine. Let it come up. Second, I'm going to tell you that you're going to be using your imagination. That's okay. It still works. Trust me, imagination is how it works. Overview is named after the overview effect, which is the experience that astronauts have when they're looking down on Earth from space and realize that this world without petty borders and wars is a world that we share, and it's fragile, and it could be gone so easily. How responsible we all are to let that ego fall away that divides us, that makes us argue with each other, makes us fight, and makes us hate. Let it go and live a better life, dedicated to helping everyone. Now, how do you do that? This process is one which we try to recreate that same effect with meditation. It's adapted from loving kindness meditation, which is to say it's stolen from Buddhism. You're welcome. Thank you. Like most good things in religion. And it goes like this. I want you to suddenly become very aware that you have a mind that is separate from the world. If you've seen The Matrix, you're going to get this really quickly. If you haven't, don't worry, we're going to catch you up. Everything you've ever experienced in this world, from your mother's laugh when you were still in the womb, everything you will experience, even down to the day where you finally set your burden by and leave this existence forever, as far as we can tell. Every single thing you have managed to perceive with your mind, just to say with your brain and or central nervous system, maybe your autonomous nervous system, apparently. To say it's not a soul. It is this internal world. And it's so second nature to us, it's first nature, really. You don't really think about it. And our conscious mind forgets that the world as you see it, it was in the past. You looking at me right now, and you're seeing something from the past, and not just because it was streamed over the internet. Because in the amount of time that it takes for your eyes and your nerves to process that information into your brain, it's in the past. But the moment that you see it, the moment you perceive it with your mind, that is now. And our mind forgets about now, even though we live in it every single moment of every single day. And inside that moment, inside the now, is every experience in your body, every experience that your mind creates. Everything that has ever been real to you is real inside that world, inside your mind. I want you to look around in space where you are. If you are operating heavy machinery or a car, I would ask that you just observe this part. Don't commit yourself too much to it for safety. In the place where you are, I'd like you to pick some place, some object nearby. It could be across the field, it could be across the room, it could be there in the pool with you, wherever it is, whatever it is. I want you to pick some object and perceive your distance to that object. I want you to focus very carefully on that distance, being aware of my words when I say that distance, every bit real inside the real world, is not real inside the world, inside of you. Inside of you, where that object is and where you are is the same place. You are inside your mind. You are inside your world. This is your world, and it may seem like just imaginary, and so it's not real. It's as real as anything you ever experienced. And this is the reason why. When you take the words of your abuser or of your bully, when you take the words of some bishop, some stake president, some priest who said something awful to you, and you repeat them, you make them real again. Because the world inside your mind is the only world that you have. It's the only world you've ever experienced. And that is why overview could help. I want you to consider now that space. And I want you to separate slightly from your body. So the distance that doesn't exist between your body and that object inside your mind, inside that internal world, I want you to create, just for the purpose of this experiment, distance between the observer, the you that is you. Separate it from your body. Or in other words, separate it from the sensations of your body. Notice the smells. Notice the textures. Feel the textures, if you can, with your hands, your arms, your legs. But then feel the textures across the room. And know that that is here. You are that thing. You are that texture. You are this smell. This is all you. Everything you perceive is you. And as you do, I want you to be aware suddenly of the sensations in your body. And find one, a point of tension or pain that maybe you neglect, maybe you ignore, or a point of warmth, the coolness on your skin, something percolating in your experience from your physical body. And I don't want you to ignore it. but I also don't want you to solve it. I want you to be present with it, which means that you observe that it is there. You are aware that it is there, and you don't try to solve it. Don't try to do anything. Just be with it. And as you do, you're going to deepen that connection. Call it a string of care between you and your body. We're getting close to about a quarter of the way through this experience. I'm keeping time. You don't have to worry about it. I want you to feel that string of care, the importance to you that your body is comfortable and happy and healthy, but that you can just be present with what makes you uncomfortable and not have to solve it. You can be comfortable with what makes you excited and not have to do anything about it. In this moment, that you are capable of choosing to just be present with it. This is good for us because, like I said, the pain of your body, the sensations of your body, and the pain in your heart, your emotional pain. In the world of your mind, it's the same. In the world of your mind, it is the same. Be aware of that now. I'd like you to let yourself deepen into this experience and consider your emotional pain. Look deeper than your physical sensations of your physical body and feel your emotions. The positive ones, feel them all the way and don't do anything with them. Be present with them. Just to be aware and not try to do anything about it. The negative ones, be aware. Don't turn away. This one time, don't look away. But don't try to solve it unless you absolutely have to. But right now, give yourself a break from having to do something about it. You don't have to do anything. Just let it be. Be present with it. Notice how your physical body reacts, if it does, to your being aware of emotional pain. Yours, in this case. Does it let something let go? Does it bring something to the surface? Does it make something hurt more or less? It's all fine. It's all normal. It's all real. As real as you are, as real as every experience you've ever had. And I want you to let that experience expand outwards beyond this place where you are. We're about halfway through this experience now. I wanted to reach out and for you to be aware of where I am out here in Independence, Missouri. It may be on the other side of the world to you. And yet I am here. I am human. I am conscious. I feel pain. I have a story. I'm here. Because you perceive me in your mind, that version of me is there where you are. Whatever you fear of me is there with you where you are. Whatever you hope for me is there with you where you are. This version of me is there where you are. Your consciousness means that you perceive that I am conscious. And if you feel something, when I tell you that I feel pain, and don't you ever tell yourself that you don't matter. Because like any of us, I have moments where I wonder if anyone cares. I have moments where I wonder if it matters to anyone that I am in pain. And in the moment where you care about me, the answer to that question is yes. In the real world, it doesn't produce any magic. In your world, it's everything. And our waking mind forgets this. I want you now to connect. And we're about 3/4 of the way through this experience. I want you to connect and feel that consciousness, that care, that string of care that connects the object that you picked at first and your body and you as a separate observer and you into the sensations of the body and you into the emotional experience that undergirds everything you feel and makes you conscious, makes you alive, makes you human. And realize that just as it connects you and me, connects you to every conscious being in the universe. As long as you can perceive the existence of that consciousness, you're connected to it inside your world. And again, how real is that world? It's as real as anything you ever experienced in life or will. Some of you may choose somebody who reflects something you're going through right now or something you've gone through in the past. I want you to look carefully as you expand out into this experience and look for someone lonely in their pain. Someone who feels truly alone. For some of you, it'll be easier than for others. We're not used to doing this all the time because, well, we're just trying to survive most days. If it's not easy for you, I'll give you one of mine. And for this last part, I'll give you mine now that I'm experiencing now. I am very aware and present with every LDS missionary who knows, like I do, that long night of the soul that I knew 2 years in Peru trying to turn Catholics into Mormons. I'm present with their pain. More than 20 years since it was me. I feel it. I'm not trying to solve it. I'm not trying to heal it. I'm not trying to do anything with it. Just sitting with it. And it's not comfortable. I want you to suddenly be aware with me that this string of care that seems insignificant in the outside world is not. Because no matter who you choose to feel pain with them right now, if they are lonely, there's somebody there out there in the world wondering, does anyone care? Does anyone care that I lost my mom and I'll never get to say goodbye? Does anyone care that I never got to bury my child? Does anyone know what it's like to graduate from college with all this debt? Does anybody care that I'm in a situation where the people who went before me just absentmindedly treat it as if it was the same as when they were in the same position. Does anybody care that I grew up poor? Does anybody care that I grew up with wealth and privilege and lost it all? Does anybody care that I wasn't ready to be a mother? I wasn't ready to be a father? Does anyone care that I wasn't ready to lose my dad? And in this moment, because of you and this string of care inside the world of your mind, the answer to that question is yes. And in that moment, this emotional pain, this being present, is real outside of that world, inside your mind. It's real in the real world. I want you to sense that, feel it, as I bring you to the close of this experience of overview. And I'm going to say a few words to you now. I want you to let these words really sink into you. I would call it a mantra, but we've stolen enough from other religions. Let's not steal that too. But it's the same concept. After I say these words and you let them sink into this experience for you, I would suggest that you repeat them with me 3 times, feeling it deeper and deeper as you surface to the present moment. If it matters to me, then it matters. In fact, it's all that matters. Now I'd ask you to repeat it with me silently or in your mind or even out loud. If it matters to me, then it matters. In fact, it's all that matters. Again, if it matters to me, then it matters. In fact, it's all that matters. And one last time, if it matters to me, then it matters. In fact, it's all that matters. I'd like to thank you for joining us here on this experience. Some of you who will be forwarded this surely in the future. This will be a rough come to Jesus for you. It's important because we've lived to see a day where everything people hope to get out of church, they're not getting anymore. That's the real reason why the Mormon Church wants you to believe they have some 15, 16, 17, 18 million members. And the fact of the matter is there may be 1 million practicing Mormons in the world. That's probably closer to the truth. Every projection seems to indicate. So people have one expectation for church. And they sit in a pew and they get a different one. President Oakes, I hope you do see this. Luke Nichols, I hope you see this. And if you take it hard, well, I hope you'll forgive me. I mean, Jesus did tell you to, right? And I hope that you will remember that Christ, your Christ, not mine. I don't believe in Jesus. I don't believe in any gods. And that's not your fault. It's theirs if they exist. They don't, so I'm cool. But you do. You believe it. So I would remind you, going all the way back to the basics, way before independence. Boy, look at that shot. It's beautiful. Look at that. That you believe 2,000 years ago, a man from Galilee warned you that a man cannot have 2 masters. You cannot serve God and Mammon. Brethren, right now, your service is showing. Your God is showing. And godless man that I am, I see it. You're wondering why people won't stay in your pews? You have books being published about why people aren't staying in the pews. Maybe that's why. Maybe they see it too. And if so, maybe you repent. Choose another way. Maybe choose a way that shows that string of care. Amen. Thank you, Cora Horse. I'll be chatting at you soon. Make sure you follow.